Built-in reports can get a lot done as far as checking out your sales process, seeing what your team's doing, but there's a lot of information that you use in JobNimbus that's not covered by our built-in reports, and that's where custom reports come in. In JobNimbus, you can make a number of custom reports on anything from your contacts to your invoices to your tasks. Now, the way that you're going to do that is the first thing you got to do is you got to come in and go to the reports section. Next, we're going to make a new report. To do that, we click on the three dots next to My Saved Reports, and we choose the kind of report that we're interested in making. I'm going to choose to make a contact report, but you're going to see similar things in every report you make. Now, there are a few different controls that we have inside a report. The first thing that I want to do is I want to determine what is the purpose of this report. For this, I would like to see people who've sat in lead for far longer than I would like them to. So based on that, I'm going to start removing columns that don't matter to me. I don't really need our JobNimbus number, and I don't need their type. I do want to see their status, their lead source, and their sales rep. I don't care who it created by, what the state was, or so forth. The next thing I want to do is I want to add in columns for things that matter to me in this case. Now, there's a whole lot of things that will show up when we add a column on any given report, and I'm not going to go over all of them, but they're in alphabetical order, and all of your custom fields are included in this. So if we have a particular piece of information that we care about and we'd like to have captured, let's make that a custom report, fill it out for our contacts, and then we can start reporting on it. In this case, I want to know how long someone's been sitting in a given status. The next thing we need to do, and one of the most powerful things to do in the report, is to add in filters. So we are going to add a filter for a few different things here. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're getting only customers here. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we want to say that our type is customer, and we'll exclude any empty records. We could also click the exclude button here, which would actually reverse the search and show us anything that's not a customer. Not useful in this case. We'll go ahead and apply that and see our number of contacts has dropped quite a bit. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a filter for status. So here we are down at the bottom. We only want to see things that are in lead, presentation, inspection, or inspection complete. Once again, we're going to exclude empty records. Now you might wonder, how do I know what filters to choose? The thing that matters most in reports is to be as specific as possible so you get the best data that you can. So think about what the group of people you want to see together have in common. Look for the filters that work off of those commonalities and use those filters. Just make sure you're getting the best information you can. So now I have everyone who is in some of my lead statuses, and I can see how many days they've been there. I can add a calculation to tell me how many people there are altogether, and I'm going to add a calculation for count to my display name. Now down at the bottom, I can see my count is 17 people in those statuses. So now we have a count, so we can see 17 people. Let's go ahead and let's sort this. So I'm going to click on days on status, and I can see the most time someone spent currently inside one of these statuses is 430 days. Something else we can do that's got a lot of power is we can group these items. And I want to group by sales rep. So I'm going to grab the sales rep column and drop it here. Now I can see who my sales reps are for each of these different people and see who's got the most problems. Ivan Drago here has not been assigned a sales rep, which might explain why he's been in this status for 304 days without moving. We could assign him and get that taken care of. Charles Schnell, which is us in this case, is dealing with the bulk of these contacts. So a coaching opportunity may be in order. Now you might wonder what kind of filters we have that we can work with. Filters are applied and chosen based on the different sort of information we're filtering by. So if we're filtering by a date, we can choose things like, hey, was it today, yesterday, this month, last month? so on and so forth. You saw that when we went through and looked at statuses, we got to pick from a list. If we're looking at something that is a number, we would go by greater than, less than, and so forth. Another powerful thing that we can do with our calculations is if we look at something like approved estimates, we can add a calculation for the sum, which is the total in that field for all of the items, a minimum, the smallest number, the maximum, or the average. On fields that are not numbers, we can't do this. We can only count up how many of them there are. A few other things that we'll want to do before we call our report complete is give it a name. Here we have My Contacts, which is not very explicit as to what this is. So we're going to call this Leads and Unsold Contacts. We can leave a description, which will show below it how many records show on each page. We'll bump this to 25, and who in our organization can see the report. I'm going to set this to admins only, and then we're going to go ahead and save this. Once we've saved the report, we're brought here. We can click on the 3 dots and go in to edit the report again. We can duplicate it and make a second one to work with. We can bulk edit and change all of the information on this report. So if we wanted to take all of these old leads and send them to somewhere like Lost, we could do that right here. And then we wouldn't have to worry about moving the records individually. We could also export this to a CSV file or an Excel file. And from there, we could send it somewhere else or use a different program to manipulate the data. The potential for custom reports isn't exactly as far as your imagination goes, but it's pretty far, and I'm sure you can make some powerful reports to help your business improve, save time, and make money.